There is a very good chance that the Trump wall will fail, just like the Atlantic Wall that the Germans built to keep the American forces out during World War II. I was reading this book, D-Day, and it goes into some pretty good detail about how Erwin Rommel put together this Atlantic Wall that was supposed to effectively stop any rush from the American and British forces. Okay, the Germans poured tons upon tons of concrete into this wall in the the northwestern portion of France to stop. It's the kind of the closest link between England or Britain and France. The Germans poured tons and tons of concrete into this wall and built up just a huge fortification with all kinds of barriers and mines and soldier firing pits. And further inland, they had the big guns that would drop bombs onto the beach for any invasion landing party. And we're talking about on the coast, not on just dry land. Trump mentions that the Great Wall of China a lot, but I don't think that was very effective either, because, I mean, we all remember the Mongols took over the country, okay? I don't think that wall was built after the Mongols entered into China, because why would they want to keep their own out, okay? The Genghis Khan took over a huge portion of China, slaughtering the Chinese and turning half the country into Mongols and interbreeding the blood. So the Chinese wall was probably built before the Mongols took over, and they found a way around it. It's simple as that. There's really not been any very effective wall out there. And going back to Germany, they spent 3 years perfecting this great wall, taking up all kinds of resources, putting it together and stuff. And it only took the Americans in some parts the Americans and British, an hour to get through and penetrate through the wall and to get into the mainland part. The hardest part for Americans to penetrate was on Omaha Beach. Okay, I'm not exactly sure where that is, but that was the worst of it. That was where Americans suffered the largest amount of casualties. I believe it was in excess of like 5,000, if I recall correctly. I didn't really mark it, but it was a pretty good sized amount of casualties. And I was reading about a lot of the interactions. 4,900 estimated casualties of Americans who died out of the 175,000. So that doesn't seem too bad. That got through the wall. And so in modern times, Germany, they're a technology leader. And in a lot of trades, a lot of construction, and they couldn't keep the Americans out with all their machinery and skills and ability. Their wall wasn't effective. So how is America going to keep Mexicans from crossing this wall, from crossing over, under, around? I mean, it's ridiculous. It very well could be a huge waste of money and resources, similar to how it was for Germany in thinking that they could take over France and keep control of it. It's like they wanted to control too much territory. All right, Germany overextended themselves, and in America on the borders, you really should have a little give on the borders. You don't have to make a solid line I mean, it's impossible to control too much area.